everyone, welcome to Moondreamer Tarot. Today I thought I would take you along with me through a tour of all of the decks in my collection. So if you'd like to see some flip throughs and hear my thoughts on all these decks, then just keep on watching. The first deck that I ever got was this one, the Tarot of the Divine by Yoshitani. This deck I got from Barnes & Noble when I was first kind of getting interested into tarot. And it really appealed to me, the artwork, the fact that it was based in a lot of folklore and deities, fairy tales. That really appealed to me as someone who is a writer and who loves to read, loves all kinds of myth and everything. This deck was sort of that nice beginner for me to dip my toes into tarot in a really fun way that, yeah, really appealed to me in that kind of side. Also, look at how beautiful the backs of these are. Stunning. Unfortunately, after I bought this deck, I used it a couple times, and again, to me, it kind of served its purpose of getting me into tarot, of getting me to understand the cards and, you know, spreads and things like that. But it unfortunately did not connect with me on a long-term basis. And I don't really know why, because it's absolutely beautiful. Not that it's never connected with me before. I have done a couple readings, and this card especially was one that really touched me on a deeper emotional level. It was really here for me during a lot of hard times. This was a reading that I sobbed at. So this card means a lot to me. So it's not this deck really never meshed. It's just sort of one that I don't feel drawn to nowadays to kind of pull. Look how beautiful this moon card is. It's what's on the cover of the box. I love this. In the guidebook, this kind of talks about how the two raccoons here, which I suppose too are kind of callbacks to the Rider-Waite, the two dogs, on the traditional symbolisms of that card, but how one raccoon is sort of looking at the reflection of the moon, and this raccoon is looking at his true north, the real moon, and how that can be illusions. I love that, and this card taught me a lot about the symbolism of the moon card. So it's definitely a well thought, well written, and well drawn deck for so many reasons, which is why I really want to connect with it more this year. But I think as a beginner, it was a little difficult for me to learn with this deck, learn tarot as I know it today with this deck. So, you know, not the fault of the cards at all. And I still think it's one of those decks where I see a lot of people buying it as their first deck, and I can see why. It's very appealing and very beautiful, very inviting, and not too daunting. I think, though, it was difficult for me to learn tarot with, which is why I probably didn't connect with it, but now, or didn't connect with it as much, but now I know a bit more about tarot and the meanings, so it won't be as hard for me to read, and then I can really appreciate the choice of, you know, tales and myths behind each card and why. So this is just, yeah, so beautiful. So definitely want to use this one more this year. During the same time that I bought the Tarot of the Divine, I ended up also buying this. This is the Seed and Sickle Oracle deck by Fez Ingray. This is from Liminal 11, and it's got that really pretty nice snazzy magnetic box as well. This was a deck that did really connect with me and bond with me, and still does today. It infamously or famously comes with 2 guidebooks, the Dusk and the Dawn. These 2 guidebooks, kind of the whole sort of idea behind this was that the Dusk guidebook sort of talks about the meanings of the cards in a sort of external or like goal-oriented way. And then the Dusk guidebook is sort of focused more on retrospection and more the intuitive part. But still, these 2 are so unique apart, but also together they read really nicely as well. This deck has always been a really genuine reader for me. We really connected, and yeah, I have a really special bond with this. This is a plant-oriented deck. There are some animals as well in here, but it's primarily plants, and it's very beautiful. These cards really speak to me on like a soul level. I can't really explain it, but it was my first big connection with a deck, and as you can see, the artwork is really inviting and really warm. Even with cards like this with a skull on it, it still is pretty inviting. I love to use this deck when I need a little pick-me-up. It's one of those that just reads really soft. Not that this deck is all, you know, sunshine and rainbows and lovey-dovey, but there's also a little bit of sort of harder truths that are entwined into the cards and the write-ups for each thing. They're also separated by 4 sections, which is spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So major theme with this deck is the seed, and then, you know, the growth, and then the sickle, which is the harvest, and how those are symbols in our life and our experience. So I absolutely love this deck. I love all of the ones in my collection, but this one is definitely one of my favorites. I've read for a lot of other people with these, and I think it always is just one of those comforting, warm, inviting bits of energy to the reading. I also love to use this as a clarifier. So sometimes I'll do my tarot readings for the day, and then if I need any bit of clarification, these cards give it to me within the first pull. It is always speaking to me in my kind of language. So I really love this. The one thing I would say that I wished would have been incorporated were sort of some keywords, or a little bit about the meaning behind the card, because sometimes I think, you know, having to get out the guidebook and making a decision on, you know, which one or both of which I'm going to use, I sort of wish I could just see a little bit, because you can flip to the individual cards throughout the book. It's really nice. It's full color. But there's also some keywords here at the beginning for like quick reading guides. And so I wish that those could have been incorporated some way. But I can appreciate that the focus is more on the artwork. And of course, too, intuition. You can kind of look at these and develop relationships with each of the cards for yourself. So stunning. So stunning. So I love these. These will definitely be in some of my pick card readings, because I just developed such a relationship with every one of them. So yeah. stay tuned if you'd like to see some of my readings with this. The next deck that I got in my collection was solely for learning purposes. This is a tarot deck that I got off of Amazon. It's pretty inexpensive. I don't really know who makes this. I still don't know who makes this. But this was just something that I bought, and I really didn't anticipate connecting with it as much as I did. But in my tarot journey, I had bought the Tarot of the Divine. I did connect with it a little bit, but I was having some trouble learning tarot itself. So I decided to buy this just to learn for the symbolisms. And, you know, this is the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith artwork. Unfortunately, it is not Pamela Coleman Smith's handwriting as it is on the original cards, but the colors are vibrant. I was mostly just buying this to learn with as I learned the meaning of tarot and everything. I was not attracted to this traditional artwork at all. I was one of those people that just, I don't know, it just did not appeal to me. It didn't make me excited to use them. It was just one of those things. I feel like a lot of people kind of agree with me that you just weren't very invested in either the colors or whatever. And then I went through a journey. I went through a pretty big journey with this deck. The more that I used it, the more I ended up falling in love with it. I began to appreciate the artwork as I began to learn the meanings and the symbolisms and, you know, sort of looking at each card and seeing it for what it really was. I began to fall in love with Pamela Coleman Smith's artwork, with the choices that she made. And now I am a RWS nerd. I love this artwork. So I think that in and of itself was a major moment in my tarot journey. It really taught me to appreciate something and go on a little bit of a journey with it. The colors themselves are not the most authentic. This is sort of a, I won't say cheaply made deck, but it's sort of one of those that I don't think is supposed to be truly authentic. It's quite clean. The artwork is quite clean. I mean, it's very vibrant, but it isn't sort of supposed to be, I guess, reminiscent fully of like a true, you know, classic RWS line work and colors. But that was okay with me at the time. I had just been using this to learn, and then I fell in love, and then I began to get really more serious into tarot. Look at this Fool card. I feel like you can really tell the differences between decks when you look at the Fool. But yeah, this deck converted me into an RWS nerd. I love RWS, and I think it'll remain my favorite form of tarot unless something really changes. Yeah, it's really, really nice. So these feel really nice. I think they remain my favorite card stock. I don't know. They just feel so comfy and slick. Not too slick. They're a bit glossy, but I don't know. There's something about these that's got a little bit of magic in them. And I mean, I'm probably biased because this is like my first RWS deck, but I really enjoyed working with this. But as I got into this artwork and the traditional tarot, I was on the hunt for something a little bit more authentic. And I had discovered online Conrad Steyn's decks. The Pam A, Pam B, 1909, Roses and Lilies. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Conrad Steyn ended up taking some scans of some of the original decks, and I decided to pick up the Roses and Lilies, and I'm never turning back. These are my babies. These are my babies. Let me put this one away. So this one is the 1909 Roses and Lilies. I believe this one is where the saturation is amped up just a little bit. But these have Pam's handwriting as well. These are, in my opinion, probably the best out there that I can get. That is as close as you're probably going to get to that original 1909 look. So beautiful. Okay, let me flip through some of these. I just wanted to find a deck that was a little more authentic, and I did. These are so nice. Yes, I mean, they don't look as crisp as maybe the cards that I just showed, but let me actually show a bit of a comparison. So for example, you can see the differences here. This one is very crisp. You know, the color is very, I mean, actually, I would say these cards are also very vibrant as well. But they've got that sort of weathered look to them, which I think is really nice. Really adds to the energy of these cards and sort of where they came from, you know? But yeah, very different, but lovely. I think once you appreciate the artwork, you really begin to see just how beautiful these colors are in their most natural form. So yeah, this is my baby. I love these. I read with it all the time. Just really nice. So that is the Conrad Steyn Roses and Lilies. And I can't remember what the other part is. It's kind of like maybe colorful or brighter. It could be brighter. But I'll have all of these decks linked down below, so don't fret. They will be there. Okay, the next decks are going to be kind of out of order. Just, you know, the ones that I've ended up getting in my collection. Let's take a look at some Oracle decks here. Let's start with this one. This is Woodland Wardens by Jessica Rue. This was published by Andrews McNeil Publishing. This is an animal deck. Also some plants in here as well. It's one of those that gives me the same kind of vibes as Seed and Sickle. I see this deck a lot, and I think for good reason. It's a beautifully drawn, curated deck with animals, as you can see, drawn in this really nice, warm, woodlandy style. I love this so much. There are keywords, so that's always nice on these cards. Let's just take a look at some of them. The deck book itself is in black and white, but something I really like about this is that there's reversed meanings as well. So, you know, I feel like we're used to seeing that more with tarot, but for Oracle, I think that's really interesting as well and gives a lot more depth to these cards. Okay, let's take a look at them. I love this one. The Coyote and the Datura. So you just say that? Deceit. I think in terms of like the energy that I get from these, this deck is a little bit darker than Seed and Sickle. I kind of, if I'm having a kind of day where I really want advice from the energy of each of these cards, the advice from this turtle, the advice from this frog, I feel like these little animals and the messages within them are very spiritual, very deep. For some reason, I get a lot of ancestor kind of energy from these. I can't really explain it, but I do. I kind of feel like these cards are old. Like the soul of them is very old, the energy here. And I can't explain why, but it's just sort of the vibe that I get from this. The deer and oat healing. So nice. I don't think it's a dark deck though by any means. I still think that it is a very comforting deck. Just feels very old and wise. I think Jessica did a great job with the artwork and matching this sort of energy with each card. I really connect with the artwork in this. Oh, I love this one. Of course, it's also on the cover. The Fox and Ivy adaptability. I say this with everyone, but it's such a stunning deck. Very beautiful. I love to use this one with the Seed and Sickle. I feel like the two of them mesh really well together for me. And I also just, any excuse I can get to look at these, I will. The Bear and Cedar leadership. Ah, so nice. So this is Woodland Wardens by Jessica Rue. Another Oracle deck in my collection that I really like working with is Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light. This is a very popular deck. A lot of the ones that I have I'll have a lot of mass market, but this is such a powerful deck of cards. I truly believe that every deck has different kinds of energy, as you can probably tell. This one took me by surprise. I was really shocked at some of the messages that I got and that I continue to get from these. My cards did come a little bit damaged. I actually got this as a gift for Christmas, and you know, after I'd opened them up, but I kind of like it. I kind of like that there's some issues with them. Is that weird? I don't think so. I don't know. It just doesn't bother me. I really like it. Gives it a lot of character. This deck talks a lot about like astrological sort of soul-seeking vibes and energy, and the artwork really, in my opinion, portrays that very well. These oracle cards are very to the point. They are an easy read. When you do get out the book, I feel like it just adds so much dimension to it. You really get a feel for the creator, Rebecca Campbell, through these cards. A lot about chakras and sort of your lives, both here and somewhere else. There's just a lot of like dream-like energy and interdimensional work with these. Yeah, I don't know. At first, it was kind of like the RWS. At first, I wasn't sure if I was going to vibe with this. It's not the typical style of artwork that I vibe with. It's sort of like a more traditional art style, but these have grown on me, and I really see the appeal and why so many others have connected with this. The messages here are very very positive. It's a very warm deck as well. I guess you can see a connection here. I like really warm decks. And this one really is. It just sort of feels like it's, I can't really explain it. When I first used this deck, I really delved into them. I read a lot of the guidebook. I sort of took time with each card, and by the end of it, I was exhausted. It was like it had just drained me of so much of my energy, but in a good way, in a very good way, not a bad way at all. It was as if I had really just soaked my soul in it and really channeled a lot. And yeah, I think that is yes, and then the no. I think it just spoke to me on that deep level. I don't use this one all the time because I do feel like it can exhaust me a little bit. But when I know that I'm up for it, I get these out. And I think that as far as clarifying cards, I don't know if they're great clarifying cards for me. I don't get that vibe from them. They more so just feel like a one card pull kind of thing of what I need to know. What is the energy manifesting around me? What can I do with it? Kind of thing. It's so, so nice. Yes. Love these. I am interested in getting the other cards that she has come out with, but I just sort of like, I don't know. I just feel like this one is also just so nice in and of itself. I don't feel the need yet, but I'm interested. I'm interested to see what else Rebecca Campbell has in store for these kinds of messages that she's putting forth. All right, let's look at a really fun one next. This is the Cat Tarot. I will admit, this is more of my husband's deck than it is mine. I'd gotten this on a whim as I was in the checkout line for Barnes & Noble. I go there a lot, and I don't know. I love cats. I have several cats. I love cats. I always have. I am a cat person. I'm a crazy cat lady, in fact. And so I knew I had to get this, but this deck is such a ball of fun. Pun intended. It is so cute. One of my favorite moments was coming home and getting out these cards and going through them with my husband and laughing so much at these cards. Look at this Empress. She is she is here to slay the day. These cards make me happy. If I'm having a sad day, I get these out. They are so funny as well. Look at this Tower card. It's perfect. It's perfect. It is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. They really give off the energy too, especially the major arcana of tarot in the RWS system. But look how cool these are and precious. So precious. So I believe, let's see. I think these are broken up into, of course, obviously the Wands, Cups, Swords, and Pentacles for the minor, but I believe, yeah, so like these are the claws. These are the claws. I think these are supposed to be the swords. I think these are supposed to... See, this is the only thing that I don't like about the deck. Is that I get confused of like, is this pentacles? Is this cups? And, you know, because there's nowhere really on here. And I don't think there's a theme necessarily, except for, well, maybe there is actually, with this symbol down here. So that's probably pentacles, right? Either way, I don't use this deck a whole lot. This is mostly my husband's deck. He likes to read with this. And he gets it, these like symbols. It just doesn't connect with me in my brain. So I don't think that me and this deck connect on like some really deep level. But it's such a nice, fun little deck to get out if you're having a bad day. It is so funny. Let's see. Oh, this little hangman. Look at his little starfish. Okay, let me show you. Oh, justice. Oh, that's actually kind of powerful. Let's see. There. Oh, the Two of Cups. Okay, see, sometimes, you know, I can see it. But I think if you're a cat lover, this is an absolute. You have to. I kind of don't want to show my favorite kinds of cards because I don't know. I feel like if you're interested in this deck, it's good to wait and see. But, oh, look at this High Priestess. Okay, here it is. The Devil. That's the best. My husband and I, when we were looking through this together, just kind of our first impressions, we laughed so long about that one. It was so good. There's also one more that is just one of my favorite cards. I feel like, too, if you have cats, you'll be able to see some of your fur babies within this. If not their physical appearance, then some of the way that they act. It's just in this. So nice. Look at the lovers. This cat reminds me of my Tia. My big boy. Cards like that. You know, they're just so, I don't know, just comforting. The Death card. That was the other one I wanted to show. So funny. So this is definitely a great purchase. Even though my husband uses it a lot more than I do, he really enjoys this one, and it is just one of those that you get a lot of good vibes from, and is just nice, lighthearted, good time. So that is the Cat Tarot. I didn't even say who this was by. Who is this by? It's illustrated by Megan Lynn Cott. I don't know, but this is from Chronicle Books. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. This is the newest deck I have in my collection. This is a gift from one of my dear friends. It's just one of those really pretty RWS decks. This is a rose gold foil. It comes with some extra cards here. Like, well, yeah, some extra cards here. This is just one of those, like, visually pleasing decks. Maybe not on camera, but in real life. It's just your traditional RWS, but rose gold. Very foiled. Very slippery. I have tried to read a couple times with these, and they slip out of my hands every time. They are so slick, but so pretty. They're just gorgeous. And there's different kinds of foil on the cards, too. It's not just like, you know, one whole foil. There's a little bit of this sort of incorporated into the artwork, which is stunning. That's what the backs looks like. They're a little thin. Like, oh, they almost slipped out of my hands. They're a little thin, but not bad by any means. They still feel pretty sturdy. But yeah, the material is slick. Real slick, but very, very pretty cards. And almost so pretty I don't kind of want to use them, but I will, especially for some of my pick a card readings. Yeah. Oh, look at that one. Look at the hermit. His staff here. Or his walking stick. Love that. This is available on Amazon. I don't know who made it. But, I don't know. It's just called the Goldfoil Tarot. But, yeah. Thought I would share that one too. So pretty. Another tarot deck that I have. This was actually my husband's. This is one that he would read with all the time. This is the Everyday Tarot. This is by Biddy Tarot. At least I know that, yeah, I think this was done by Biddy Tarot. It is, I don't know if this kind is still available. I think she redid them recently, but, oh no. Don't know how to get these out, but they're little. They're little and so cute. It's RWS, but sort of simplified, different kind of artwork. Focuses a lot on like the core symbolisms and everything, and it's really cute. It's really, really cute. I don't really use this one. This is more of my husband's, but it is really nice. I could see this being one of those that, you know, you pop in your purse or your bag or leave in your car if you need tarot on the go. And I also think it's one of those that are appealing to newer readers as well. If you don't really vibe with the artwork of Pamela Coleman Smith and, you know, the traditional tarot, this would be a good alternative. If you vibe with this kind of style, kind of 2D, very simple artwork, but still really encapsulates each card and the symbolisms behind it. So yeah, this is the Everyday Tarot. I don't know who publishes them. Who published this? I don't know. It just says Running Press. Not too sure, but it does come with the guidebook as well. I didn't show that off. Pretty simple, but you have reverse meanings and upright meanings. So, not too shabby. My husband really enjoyed this one. I don't think he reads a lot with it now. It was sort of his beginner deck, and I think that's part of the appeal with this, you know. But, yeah, really cute little baby cards. They're also, they have some sprayed edges, so it's cool. Okay, the last tarot deck, I have one more Oracle deck, but the last tarot deck I have is an indie deck here. This is the Sleepwalker's Tarot. I cannot pronounce the illustrator of these cards, and I do apologize. But this was distributed by Vermilion. I saw this through a couple of YouTube videos, and the artwork really appealed to me. This is a really beautiful tarot deck. It comes with this guidebook that is written in both the illustrator's native language and then English. I really was just attracted to the artwork and some of the choices that the illustrator, the creator of this deck, really the choices that they made was just really unique. So here's a couple of unique things about this. It comes with two additional cards, the Sleepwalker and this card called Sober. And the whole idea behind this deck is sort of the dream world that you go to when you sleep. And so the Sleepwalker is sort of you entering this dream world. And then the Sober card was, I believe, placed at the very end. And it was like you awakening, waking up. It's also the only card where someone is pictured with their eyes open throughout this whole deck. I love that. I love that whole idea and that whole storytelling behind that. So let's take a look at the cards. This is I think it's a linen finish. It's definitely got some texture to it. It's really well made. I love this, this color of gold for the edges. And the backs are really pretty too. First, that eye open, sort of seeing within the dream world. I love that. I love that. So here are some of the cards. They're so cute. They can also get pretty dark like you see here, and it's just, I don't know. It's very dreamlike. Almost kind of fairy tale-esque, but not. I love the interpretation of a lot of these cards as well. Like, look at this. Look at this Queen of Swords. Really captures the air energy of her so well. I will say that one of the sort of qualms I have with this deck is that it's not very diverse. And I wish I could have seen a little bit more diversity within it. Otherwise, I do think this is 10 out of a 10, this deck. So nice and pretty. There is also 2 alternate cards. Look how beautiful that is. There's 2 alternate cards. One is for the High Priestess, and the other is the Hermit. So I'll show those here. This is so pretty. Let me show you. So this is one of the High Priestess cards, and then here's the other one. And I think, I mean, you know, I love to read with a deck in its own unique language. And I just think that even though these are both High Priestess cards, I get 2 different meanings from them. This one is sort of like that quiet intuition, and then this is sort of an awakening of the intuition and sort of ascending with it. It's just, oh, I love it. Love it, love it. The colors are so vibrant. The quality of these cards and the printing is amazing. It was a little pricey, I won't lie. I think I paid a little over $60 for this. But, oh, I love this one. It's one of my favorites, Page of Cups. But I do think it's worth it, especially if you vibe with the artwork. Look at this Knight of Cups. He's all scratched up, but he has got his roses. He might be ready for some romance. Okay, so here's the Hermit. And this is the more traditional view of the card. So I'm going to put that one to the side. This Knight of Wands, very Leo kind of energy. I love that. The fire of that card. Oh, I love this one, the Knight of Swords. Get that one too. Oh, it's so nice. This is a card that meant a lot to me for the Hierophant. When I was really working with this deck, this was one card that sort of changed my mind about how I feel about the Hierophant. His hand coming up here and this sort of, I don't know, like this energy coming from his fingers about his connection to the divine or spirit or wherever you kind of feel like tarot's power comes from, whether it's just within us or another source or somewhere in between. Yeah, this really expanded my knowledge too of the Hierophant. So yeah, I went through a bit of a journey. Look at the kitty. Oh, so cool. But yeah, I went through quite a bit of a journey sometimes too through these with some of the meanings. beautiful this tower card is. Let me find the Hermit card. Oh, the purples. I think the colors are what really gets to me. I just love colorful decks. Look at this, the Two of Cups. Was one of my favorites. One of my favorites. And like I said, you know, I read differently with each deck, sort of like the meanings of the cards to me, unless I'm working with, you know, the traditional RWS, I sort of have different feelings regarding some of the meanings behind the cards per which kind of deck I'm using. But look at the difference between the Hermits here. I love that. Kind of giving different aspects of that card through either of these. Very cool. Love, love, love. So this is the Sleepwalkers Tarot colors. The colors are so beautiful. The last deck I have to share is this beautiful, I know I keep saying it, this one might be one of the most beautiful ones in my whole collection, but this is the Citadel, a fantasy oracle by Fez Inkwright, the same creator of the Seed and Sickle. And this is also by Liminal 11. It comes with a magnetic box as well. Love the magnetic boxes. This is truly a fantasy oracle. How do I explain this deck? It's got the inspirations of Dungeons and Dragons, of novels, of storytelling, of role play. There's a lot of you know, there's a lot of energy that comes from this deck through creativity and storytelling, which is right up my alley. I am a writer, and so these I knew I had to have in my collection. I knew I had to. But you know, my original idea of using these cards was going to be for my readings for my books and everything. And while it does kind of work for that, it's also just a really nice oracle deck that can sort of be on its own. It's just, I don't know. It sort of touches those levels of me, like the hunter, sure-footedness, predestination. Okay, you know, it's just, it's not solely for, you know, creatives or writers or, you know, people who play with stories. It's also for anyone with some really powerful meanings to these cards. The artwork too is very appealing to me with this gold foil. There are a lot of hands. I know some people don't like hands, but I don't know. I love this. The priest, perseverance, faith. I feel like these can just up a reading, you know? They really can just add something to your reading that can both be a little bit of a, look at how beautiful that is, a bit of a clarifier, or just on its own. The warrior, perfectionism, burnout. Oof, yeah. So I'm glad that Fez put some keywords on this one. This did come out after Seed and Sickle. Yeah, I love this. I don't think this is, you know, as fuzzy or warm as maybe the Seed and Sickle, but it's still one of those that gets me excited to read with it. I've not read with it a whole lot. Oh, wow. The Hound. Loyalty. Chains. Promises. You could get so much out of this. Yeah, I could just sit here and look at all the cards because I can't stop. Sleeper. cause and effect, clarity. Oh, they're all just so pretty. So pretty. So you will see a lot of sort of the archetypes in, you know, stories like the sailor or the smith, the thief, things like that. But then the keywords are just on this sort of intuitive level that really make it truly an oracle deck. So, love this. Love this. Really want to use this more. I will definitely be incorporating these in my pick a card readings. So if you would like to see more of these and sort of some in-depth little ramblings and thoughts on each card, then stay tuned for that. But yeah, this is the Citadel. I didn't mention this yet, but this guidebook is quite thick. It really is. And it's a lot about, gosh, I mean, there's sort of a whole system in reading this. I mean, look at that. This is the Citadel itself. And I don't know, it's just, it's a very magical deck. Look at this long foreword, word from the author, but it's truly like a story. But again, you can really read them intuitively on their own. You don't have to do it the way that the book does. I mean, obviously with anything, but if you're interested in that too, it will just enrich this deck even more. So that was the Citadel. Okay, well, that was all the decks in my collection. I really hope you enjoyed spending some time with me and chatting about the cards. If you want to see more from me, then check out my channel. I'll have a lot more videos coming soon. Maybe some more in-depth ones about certain decks. So comment down below and tell me which ones you would really like to see me dive into. I could spend hours talking about these decks. I am truly a nerd. Okay, thanks so much. See you soon.